Okay, HaBaim Yashresh Yaakov. The Maamar is a Maamar for Chavdala Tevis. It was said on Parshas Shmos, Yutas Tevis. The pasuk is from the Haftarah of Parshas Shmos, and it's a Maamar that speaks about the connection between mitzvahs that we do and the Giluyim of La'asad Laveh, and two different ways in the correlation between mitzvahs and the Giluyim of Mashiach. HaBaim Yashresh Yaakov. The pasuk is in the Nevuah of Yeshaya. The literal meaning is HaBaim, in the days to come. HaBaim means something that's coming. And the literal translation is in the coming days, Yashresh Yaakov, then Yaakov will take root, will get roots, Yashresh. Yatzet Farach Yisrael, the pasuk finishes off, and Yisrael will grow, will blossom, and Malu Pnei Sevel Tenuva, the whole world will be filled with the fruits that grow from them. Umevi had Tzemach Tzedek, so the Tzemach Tzedek brings B'Maamar Dibra Maschal Zeh, and his Maamar on this pasuk, Pirish HaTargum Yenisam Ben Uziel ala pasuk. The translation of the Targum on the pasuk that translates Shezeh Koi ala Geula, that the Targum translates this pasuk that it's referring to the coming Geula. Targum the HaBaim, the Targum on this pasuk on HaBaim, on the word HaBaim, is Yiskanshun mi beinei galvasein. They'll be gathered from amongst their golusin that they went to, v'yisuvun le'arahain, and they'll return to their land. So the HaBaim in the Targum translates it not as days that will be coming, but as people that will be coming. It says HaBaim, they'll come back to Eretz Yisrael. It's referring to the Yidden in the times of Mashiach who will come and return back to Eretz Yisrael. The HaBaim, the word HaBaim, the ones who are coming, according to the Targum, Koi al Habiyah la'aretz refers to the coming back to Eretz Yisrael, Shatia, which will take place Begula Asida, about which the pasuk says, Ve'haviyacha avaya lekecha la'aretz. When it says Hashem will bring us back, so the HaBaim is those who are brought back and will come back at that time. So the Targum says this HaBaim is talking to the coming that will take place when Mashiach comes. And about this, well, anything that happens physically happens spiritually also, but the continuation of the pasuk will be translated, connected to the spiritual things that happen then. That the pasuk says Yashresh Yaakov, HaBaim, according to the Targum, when we come back to Eretz Yisrael, when Mashiach comes, will be Yashresh Yaakov. And the words Yashresh Yaakov, Yaakov will take root, says the Targum, Tamon, over there in Eretz Yisrael, by this return, Yisyelidun, the Beis Yaakov, will be the birth of Beis Yaakov, of the household of Yaakov. That's what the Targum is. Umevar, the Tzemach Tzedek explains on this. Mevar b'Hamaimer, the Hashrasha Yashresh Hu Helam. The word Hashrasha, taking roots, refers to something that occurs in a concealed matter. The roots of a tree are concealed, they're hidden in the ground. So describing the word Yashresh is describing something that's happening hiddenly. Shesharshe k'may hashrasha sa'ilan, like the roots, the taking roots of a tree. Shesharshe ha'ilan sheba'aretz heim behelim. The roots of the tree are in the ground, they're hidden, they're concealed. V'leida, a birth, hugili. Leida is describing something becoming revealed. A child being born means the child is coming to Gili, is coming to be revealed. The Kaidim HaLeida, before the moment of the birth, B'hiyase bebeten imay, when the child is in the mother's womb, Hu behelim, the child is then concealed. Okeshenayla, the birth, the moment of its birth is Ba Legili, is the child coming to be revealed to everyone. So we have a word and the translation of the word that seem to be two opposite implications. The word in the pasuk is Yashresh, which is a description of something that's hidden, that's concealed. And the Targum of Yashresh is Leida. It says taking root means the birth, refers to the birth of Yidden, which is a Gili. Says the Tzemach Tzedek on that, V'zeh shehat targum de Yashresh, that the Targum's translation for Yashresh, who Yis Yilidun is refers to, it means the birth of Yidden, who is because Shesheresh HaNeshama Yashresh Yeh Begilu Yis Yilidun is because La'asad Lave. In this time of HaBaim, when Mashiach comes, the sheresh, the root of Yidden, which is usually hidden, will be in a state of Yisyilidun, in a state of birth. It will then be begilui, so it will be the coming together of hiddenness and gilui. That's the first point of the Maamar. So HaBaim, Yashresh, Yaakov is referring to HaBaim when Mashiach comes, when the sheresh, the root, the hidden, concealed root of Yidden will become revealed. Umamshich b'Maamar, and the Tzemach Tzedek continues. Oid Pirish b'Yashresh Yaakov, another translation, another meaning of Yashresh Yaakov. The first explanation is the Targum, that it's describing something that's happening to Yidden, that the Jewish people are taking root. Another taich is Koi Akiyum HaMitzvahs, that Yashresh Yaakov, the root, the taking root that's being described in the pasuk, is referring to mitzvahs. Why are mitzvahs described as Yashresh, as roots, getting roots, taking roots? The Kemoishe Hashrasha Kipshuta. Just like literally roots that are taking root of a tree or anything. Who, Be'aretz Dafka, where could roots grow? In the earth. Something that takes root in the earth. Al derech zahu b'neshama, the same is true with regard to the neshama Yaakov, that the neshamas are like a tree, compared to a tree. Yidden are compared to Adam Eitz Hasada, and they also have to take root. Where could the Jewish people get their roots? Shahashrasha hi b'kiyum mitzvahs maisis. Their roots are in mitzvahs maisis, are in physical mitzvahs, which are compared to the earth. So just like a tree has to be in the lowest, in the gashmistic earth, the roots of Yidden are through mitzvahs that are performed in a physical act. So the first taich in Yashresh Yaakov is that it's describing the sheresh of Yidden coming to Gilui, becoming begilui. And the second taich is it's describing the performance of mitzvahs of Yidden, that through that Yidden get their roots. Vakesha dishnei hapirushim b'Yashresh Yaakov, the connection, says the Tzemach Tzedek, between these two explanations, these two translations in Yashresh Yaakov. The first translation, that it refers to Gilui Sheresh HaNeshama, that the pasuk is describing the Sheresh HaNeshama becoming revealed, the root of the Neshama becoming revealed. Vekiyam HaMitzvahs, and the second translation that we're describing Yidden getting their roots by doing mitzvahs maisiyas. The connection between these two interpretations is Ki HaGilui, the Sheresh HaNeshama. The revelation, the gilui of the Sheresh HaNeshama, Sheyiyah la'asad lavi, that will take place when Mashiach comes, who al yidei kiyam ha-mitzvahs achshav, what brings that about is the mitzvahs that we do today, these days. So before we carry on and show how this explains the connection, we'll say, why is that? What do we mean that the Sheresh HaNeshama is dafka through mitzvahs? And this is going to be one of the main themes of the Maamar. V'inyan hu, the b'sheresh haneshama kama dargis. Where does the neshama originate from? What are the roots of the neshama? There's many different levels that are described as the sheresh haneshama. Ve'ikar sheresh haneshama, the main origin, the main root of the neshama, hu k'may shehi mushreshes beha'er shalamayla mishtalshos, is its original root in the Eira Leki, in the godliness that's completely higher than Ishtalshlos. V'Eir Zeh, this Eir that's higher than Ishtalshlos, higher than all the Ilames, that's the real, true origin of the Neshama. This Eir is Nimshach Haidei Kiyam HaMitzvahs. What brings it down is mitzvahs dafkas, Kiyam HaMitzvahs. Da'amshacha shal Yidei Limud HaTeirah. Damshacha, what level, so to speak, of godliness do we bring down through learning Torah? Is mebchinas chachma. is from Chachma Datzilus, which is the highest point in the Eilames and Ishtalshlus, but it's part of Ishtalshlus. Chachma is Reishis HaShtalshlus, it's the beginning of Ishtalshlus Eilames, so it's part of Eilames. And because Torah is Chachma Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's the Chachma of the Eibishter, therefore learning Torah has the effect to draw down, to bring down the Chachma of the Eibishter, but it's still part of Ishtalshlus. We're not through that reaching higher than Ishtalshlus. In order to reach and bring down the air that's higher than Ishtalshlus, while Yidei Maisa Mitzvahs is dafka through mitzvahs, through doing mitzvahs begashmis. And therefore it's mitzvahs that can reach and bring down the true Sheirish HaNeshama, which is higher than Ishtalshlus. This will help us understand the Mishnah. It says in the Mishnah, Kol Shemaisav Merubin Michachmasei. It says someone whose maisa, whose action, whose kiyama mitzvahs are more than his limud Torah. Daimat, that the Mishnah compares him le'ilan to a tree sha'anafav muatin, that has less branches, v'sharashav merubin, and has more roots, that tree is going to be very sustainable. That's what the Mishnah says. Says the Maamar, why are we comparing an abundance of mitzvahs to an abundance of roots? Because mitzvahs are connected to the root. Ki hamshachas sheirish haneshama, because they're bringing down, drawing down the root of the neshama, who aidei maisa mitzvahs, is through maisa mitzvahs, and therefore mitzvahs are equated with the roots in that Mishnah. So now that we said that bringing down the true sheirish haneshama, that the true sheirish is the eir shelamayla mishtalshus, is specifically through mitzvahs, now we'll understand the connection. V'zeu hakesher. That's the connection, the Shnei HaPirushim b'Yashresh Yaakov, between the two explanations in Yashresh Yaakov, that we're referring to the Gili Sheirish HaNeshama of Lasid Love, and that we're referring to doing mitzvahs, because one brings to the other. Shaydei Kiyam HaMitzvahs Achshav, because through the mitzvahs that we do these days, which is Pirush HaSheni b'Yashresh Yaakov, that's the second interpretation in Yashresh Yaakov, that it's referring to the roots, to drawing down the roots of Yidden through mitzvahs, through the mitzvahs that we do, Nimshach Sheirish HaNeshama. That brings down the true Sheirish HaNeshama, the air that's higher than Ishtalshlus. V'hagilui de hamshacha zu, and this hamshacha, this sheirish haneshama, when will it be revealed? Yeh la'asad lavi, that will be la'asad lavi when Mashiach comes. That then the Yashresh will be like the Targum says, Yis Yelidun will be a birth. Yis Yelidun the Beis Yaakov, sheirish haneshama yar begilui. Then the sheirish haneshama will be revealed, which is Pirush Harishon b'Yashresh Yaakov. That's the first interpretation of Yashresh Yaakov. So we see the connection between the two meanings, that one brings and leads to the other. So this is the teichen of the Tzemach Tzedek, what the Tzemach Tzedek says in Eira Torah. V'hinei al pi hayadua hadiuk b'mamare Rabbi Seinu Nisienu gam b'seder hanyanim. According to what we know, that in the Maamarim of the Rabbeim, the order, the sequence is also precise. Tzarech lahavin, so the order of the two interpretations that the Tzemach Tzedek brings in Yashresh Yaakov needs explanation. Harei hagilui de sheirish haneshama sheyiyah la'asid ba la'achrei v'yidei kiyam ha'mitzvahs achshav. Seemingly the sequence is the opposite. What comes first? The mitzvahs that we do these days comes first. And that brings about the other interpretation, which is the Gili Sheirish HaNeshama of Lasid Lavi. Yet the order in the Maamar is, first he brings the interpretation in Yashresh Yaakov of the Targum, that it's referring to the way the Neshama, the Sheirish HaNeshama, Lasid Lavi will be revealed. And then he brings the interpretation that it refers to mitzvahs that we do now, which should come first. The order, the sequence in the Maamar is Shebetchila ba hapirush. First is the explanation, Sheyashresh Yaakov, that the words Yashresh Yaakov refer to Gilui Sheirish HaNeshama Sheyelasad, to the revelation of the root of the neshama that will happen to when Mashiach comes. Ula Achreza, and afterwards, Ba Pirosh, comes the explanation, Yashresh Yaakov Koi, Akiva mitzvahs Achshav, that it refers to the mitzvahs that we do now, which seemingly should have been the first. That's the first question. And the order in the Maamar seems to be the opposite of the actual sequence, the way they happen. Gam Tzarech Lahavin, another question on the Tzemach Tzedek's Maamar, Shebepirush Harishin, in the first explanation of the Tzemach Tzedek, where he brings the Targum, that Yashresh Yaakov refers to the Gili Sheresh Haneshama of La'asid, Yashresh Yaakov Koy Al Agula, that the pasuk is referring to the Giluyim that will happen in the times of the Gula. Mefaresh Gam Tevas HaBaim, in that explanation of the pasuk, based on the Targum, the Tzemach Tzedek also translates, interprets the word HaBaim. That the word HaBaim, according to the Targum, means those who will come back to Eretz Yisrael in the times of Mashiach. So we have also the translation of this word. Ubepirish Hasheni, but in the second interpretation, the way that Tzemach Tzedek brings it, Sheyashresh Yaakov Koi Al Kiyam HaMitzvahs Achshav, that Yashresh Yaakov refers to the mitzvahs we do now. Obviously, according to that interpretation, HaBaim doesn't mean the coming back to Eretz Yisrael, because the Yashresh Yaakov, according to the second pshat, is mitzvahs that we do these days. There must be some other meaning for HaBaim in the second pshat, and yet the Tzemach Tzedek doesn't bring it. Ein Pirish Tevas HaBaim, the Tzemach Tzedek does not explain the meaning of the word HaBaim in the second pshat. That's the other question. V'hinei ba'pirish sheyashresh Yaakov koi al kiyam mitzvahs. The second pshat of the Tzemach Tzedek, that Yashresh Yaakov refers to mitzvahs, it's referring to the hashrasha, the roots that are accomplished through doing mitzvahs. So this is explained in other places in Chassidus. And the Rabbi is going to say we see two different ways in this pshat itself. Shnei Yifanim, there's two ways to explain the connection between roots and doing mitzvahs. One way is the way we said earlier, the way the Tzemach Tzedek seems to say it. Shehahashrasha de Yaakov, he became ha-mitzvahs kana. That it's Yaakov, it's Yidden, it's a Jewish person that's getting roots, that's taking root through doing mitzvahs. And the comparison was, just like a tree, the roots of the tree have to be in the physical earth, in the lowest part of the world. So to a Jew, where do his roots have to be? In the performance of physical mitzvahs, in mitzvahs that he does b'maisa.
Roots are compared to analogy and emunah or mitzvahs?
In other places, we compare them to emunah, which is the sheresh, but here we're comparing it to mitzvahs. Yash is the mitzvah. And what we're saying is, Yidden get their roots through doing a physical mitzvah. In the mitzvah, that's what his root is. But then there's another pshat that the Rebbe is going to bring from Teira'ir, that Yashresh Yaakov refers to mitzvahs, but in a different way. That Shehashrasha de mitzvahs hu b'Yaakov. The second way of understanding the same words, the same connection, is that it's the mitzvahs that are getting roots. Mitzvahs are the ratzin of the Eibishter. Mitzvahs are very lofty, godly lights, and they have to take root down in this world. Where could mitzvahs, what's a fertile ground for the mitzvahs, for this godliness of the mitzvahs to get their roots? In Yaakov and Yidden. So not that Yidden are taking root in the Maisa mitzvahs, the opposite, the mitzvahs are getting their roots in the Jewish people. Hashrasha de mitzvahs hi b'Yaakov. Where do we find this second explanation? K'mei shekasav Admur HaZaken, like the Alter Rebbe says, the Baal Ha'ilula de Chav Dalet Teves, B'Teira'ir Dibra HaMaschal Zeh, and Teira'ir in Parshas Shmos, on this pasuk. Now the Alter Rebbe says over there, the K'mei Shehazriya, Kipshuta. There the Alter Rebbe explains the Yashresh Yaakov, referring to mitzvahs in the second way. He says, just like literally, when you plant a seed, tzricha liyes ba'aretz dafka, it has to be in the earth, in the physical earth. K'maikein hu behazriya de mitzvahs. so too has to be in planting the mitzvahs. Mitzvahs have to be planted. Mitzvahs are like a seed that contain a very powerful spiritual force. They're referred to Eir Zarua Latzadik, a light that has to be planted. And where could be the planting where the mitzvahs, this godly light of the mitzvahs, will get its roots? Shetzricha liyes b'Yisrael dafka. They have to take root. They have to be nishrash in Yidden. Dichsiv behu, Yidden are compared to earth, like it says in the pasuk, Kisiyu atem li eretz chayfetz. That the Eibishter says to Yidden, you will be for me a desirable eretz, a desirable earth. So Yidden are compared to the earth, and mitzvahs are able to get their roots in Yidden. And the Alter Rebbe in this Maamar says, V'zehu Yashresh Yaakov Yotzitzu Farach. The pasuk continues that Yashresh Yaakov, there's a root in Yaakov, and through that Yotzitzu Parach, there's a growth. He says, the Yashresh Yaakov, the words Yashresh Yaakov, the way the Alter Rebbe explains it in Teira'ir, Koi al Kiyum HaMitzvahs Achshav, refers to the mitzvahs that we do these days, according to the interpretation of the Alter Rebbe, that when we do a mitzvah, the mitzvah is getting its roots in Yaakov. Shah mitzvahs nizraim v'nishrashim b'Yaakov, the mitzvahs are getting planted and getting their roots in Yaakov. Through these mitzvahs that we're doing now, will be the growth when Mashiach comes. That's the continuation of the pasuk, that there will be the growth and the blossoming that results from the Yashresh Yaakov. But in Teira'ir there, in the Maamar of the Alter Rebbe goes further and also explains the word HaBaim. The Pirish HaBaim Yashresh Yaakov. The Alter Rebbe says the meaning of HaBaim, those who are coming. What's the coming that we're referring to that enables the Hashrasha, the roots that are taken through mitzvahs? Says the Alter Rebbe, Shebechtei Sheyeh Yashresh Yaakov, in order that there should be the taking root of Yaakov, which according to the Maamar of the Alter Rebbe, it's the mitzvahs getting their roots in Yidden, in Yaakov. Hashrasha, the Teiro mitzvahs b'Yisrael. Who al yidei HaBaim is through a coming, which means Habiyah leMitzrayim, through the Yidden coming to Mitzrayim. Ukiyadua, like it's known, Shegolus Mitzrayim Haya Hachana LaKabbalas HaTeirah. That Golus Mitzrayim was the necessary preparation for Kabbalas HaTeirah. So what enabled us to get the Teirah? What enabled Teirah mitzvahs to be nishrash, to get their roots in Yidden, was the HaBaim, was the preparation for that, coming to Mitzrayim before that made Yidden vessels, kelim, for this hashrash. Umamshech sham, and Alter Rebbe continues there, the Kemei Shegolus Mitzrayim. Just like this was true about Golus Mitzrayim, that was the preparation for Kabbalas HaTeirah, and therefore the HaBaim, the coming to Mitzrayim, enabled the Hashrasha, the roots in Yidden through getting the Teirah. Al derech zeh, the same thing is true now, that Golus zeh ha'achrein, this final Golus, Huachana, is also a preparation lekabbalas pnimius HaTeirah, she is gala la'asad la'asad, to the upcoming Kabbalas HaTeirah, to the re-accepting pnimius HaTeirah that will happen when Mashiach comes. That's what Alter Rebbe says. V'yesh leimar, says the Rebbe. Why is this extra point necessary? He already translated, he already explained the word HaBaim. How is this point relevant to understanding the pasuk? That Alter Rebbe adds this extra point, that this Golus is also a preparation for the Torah that will explain when Mashiach, will accept when Mashiach comes. Shagolus ha'achrin, that the final Golus, who achana lekabel pnimius HaTorah, she is gala la'asad lavi, is a preparation for the Kabbalas HaTorah when Mashiach comes. The reason that Alter Rebbe has to add this is because this is necessary for understanding the pasuk. Ki al pize yumta kashaychos de HaBaim liyashresh Yaakov. When it says HaBaim Yashresh Yaakov, according to all the explanations, it's that at the time of HaBaim, there will be a certain coming that during that HaBaim will be the Yashresh Yaakov, will be the Hashrasha. That's the way it was according to the Targum. That's the way it is according to the Tzemach Tzedek. So now, if I say HaBaim means the coming to Mitzrayim, the coming to Mitzrayim is a hachana. It's a necessary preparation for Kabbalah Satera. But the actual Yashresh Yaakov only happens afterwards when we got to Torah. So the HaBaim isn't together with the Yashresh Yaakov. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe says that HaBaim is also the coming to Golus, this Golus, which is also a preparation for an upcoming Kabbalah Satera. And with regards to this Golus, the Yashresh Yaakov is within and during the HaBaim itself. It's within, during the HaBaim itself. It's not that it comes afterwards. Kalpiza Yumtak Dafka, with what the Alter Rebbe adds, that the HaBaim also refers to this final Golus. Yumtak will become clearer. Hashaychos the HaBaim liyashresh Yaakov, the connection between HaBaim and Yashresh Yaakov. The mashmos HaKasafu, the implication of the pasuk is Shahashrasha hi behagolos atzme, that the Yashresh Yaakov takes place within, during the HaBaim. If HaBaim means Golos, that the Hashrasha has to be during the Golos itself. Ubenegei ala Golos Mitzrayim, and with regards to Golos Mitzrayim, the Yashresh Yaakov isn't during the HaBaim. HaBaim hu rak hagdama liyashresh Yaakov. The HaBaim, the coming to Mitzrayim, is just a preparation that enables later the Yashresh Yaakov. Sha'idei Golos Mitzrayim, that through Golos Mitzrayim, which is compared to Kur HaBarzel, to the what? Not the melting pot, where you make the iron, the furnace that you make the iron. Nitzrafu Yisrael, so this refined the Yidden, Lies Bechinas Eretz Chayfetz, to become a Eretz Chayfetz, to become like the earth that the mitzvahs could take root in. Vayideza, through the Golos Mitzrayim, Kiyim HaMitero Mitzvah Shalom Shala Achrei HaYitzia Mi Mitzrayim, Ola Achrei Kabbalah Satero Beifin the Yashresh Yaakov. This enables at a later time that the mitzvah should take root, but the HaBaim doesn't come together with the Yashresh Yaakov. V'lachin Meisiv, therefore the Tzemach Tzedek, the Alter Rebbe adds, Shegalos ha'achrein hu hachana lagili d'lasad lavei. The HaBaim refers also to this final Golos, which is also a preparation for the upcoming Gula. Shal pizeh HaBaim koi gama golius shal achri Golos Mitzrayim, that according to this HaBaim refers also to this Golos, va'ad legolos zeh ha'achrein, up to and including this Golos, and that with regards to this Golos, the HaBaim is together with the Yashresh Yaakov. We're doing the mitzvahs, and they're getting their roots in us during the HaBaim, during the Golos itself. Okay, we'll stop here.